There's one man out there that could possibly get RCR back on track, back to the winning ways, and make Richard Childress Racing great again. But are they going to be able to get him? That's the question. Let's talk about it here on Stuck in the Catch Fence. What's going on, YouTube? Hopefully you're having a wonderful Tuesday. My name is Ryan Peters. I'm here to talk to you about RCR and the possibility of some major news. Austin Dillon, somebody that by far doesn't go out of his way to talk to the media, especially when it comes to the inside dealings with Richard Childress Racing, made some comments this weekend at Chicago. He announced that there was going to be some changes, whether at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and he feels like it's going to help turn RCR around. So that got people thinking, talking heads talking, and somebody like myself wondering who could possibly come in and immediately make a great change for Richard Childress Racing. And the one name that came to my mind that I think possibly could do a lot of different things to help would be one Greg Zipadelli, also known as Zippy. If you're not familiar with Greg Zipadelli, he's currently the vice president of competition at Gene Haas Stewart Racing. Stewart Haas Racing? I'm not sure why I said it that way. Stewart Haas Racing. And as we know, Stewart Haas Racing will cease to exist at the end of this year. There will be a Haas Factory team, which will be a one-car operation, and it sounds like Mr. Custer, Cole Custer's dad, will be the one running that. So that could be leaving someone like Greg Zipadelli, somebody who has won multiple championships as a crew chief, who has seen the growth of Stewart Haas Racing and been a part of that organization now for a while, and who could possibly turn over a new leaf, moving from one Chevy team to another by former Chevy team, Stewart Haas was, to now a new Chevy team for himself, moving over to RCR. So, is that the answer? Austin Dillon made it clear that he's still got 2 years left on his contract. He'll be in that car till 2026. So that's not going to change. But if you're going to bring somebody from the outside in to make changes, to do things that are different, to get back to winning, which RCR hasn't done consistently for a while now. They've won races. They've been competitive in the last 15 years, but they consistently haven't been fighting for championships. Is Greg Zipadelli that type of guy? Well, the one thing that I said about Richard Childress Racing before is that it's run too much like a family-owned business. It seems like, Uncle Lenny's going to come in, and even though Uncle Lenny doesn't do a great job and he takes a lot of nap breaks and things of that nature, it's Uncle Lenny. We can't fire Uncle Lenny. I just felt that way with RCR. And really, from there, since Dale Earnhardt passed away, it's kind of felt that way. They've got their guys. They've got their people that Richard Childress trusts, and he's not going to do anything to move forward. The big change with that came in Kyle Busch. When Kyle Busch came over, that was something that was like a revolutionary change. He had to bury the hatchet, the hold my watch comments, the things we made in the past, the disagreements, and listening to Austin Dillon, what sounds like he was the one that helped organize that change. So maybe where we're not giving credit as much as we should on the one trying to organize change inside of RCR isn't actually Richard, but actually Austin Dillon. Maybe Austin Dillon is making these moves, trying to set up these ways because he himself realizes, and I think that's pretty clear, that RCR is not having the speed that they should as a tier 1 organization with Chevy, and him being the driver has that type of input that can say, hey, this is where we're failing. Yes, he is quite a bit behind Kyle Busch. We knew that already. But I think what Austin wants is something that he can set up himself to talk to his grandfather for, when his grandfather may still want to run it that family style business. Austin is the one possibly making the type of moves to get in a Kyle Busch, to get in a Greg Zipadelli. So you have to wonder if maybe the change inside of RCR is just actually listening more to Austin. You know, Austin's not this bad. Austin Dillon's not this bad. I'll say that more than once because people will throw him to the wolves. I'm not an Austin Dillon fan. I don't dislike Austin. I have no reason to dislike Austin Dillon. But Austin Dillon is not this bad of what we've seen. Kyle Busch is not this bad of what we've seen. So maybe it takes somebody like an Austin Dillon to go out and say, hey, I know you really like Andy Petrie, Grandpa, but Andy Petrie ain't getting it done. Hey, I know you want to keep doing things the way we've been doing it, but what we've been doing ain't getting it done. Hasn't got it done in a very long time. And again, I'm gonna equate it back to, I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. It reminded me of Mike Brown for the Cincinnati Bengals. If you don't know this, the Brown family has owned the Bengals since its existence. Paul Brown was fired as a coach in Cleveland, came down to Cincinnati, started his own team. Paul passed away, gave it to his son Mike. Mike has never had the same type of winning that Paul did, but Mike always ran it like a family business, and it finally took Katie, his daughter, Katie Blackburn, formerly Katie Brown, to step in and say, Dad, I know you want to hand this down to us, and maybe that's what Richard wants to do to Austin and Ty, but we're not going to take it the way it is. What your dad enjoyed, what you enjoyed a long time ago, that's a thing in the past. We need to revolutionize this for the future. So maybe Austin Dillon's coming in and playing part-time driver, part-time negotiator, and if he's able to get somebody like a talented Greg Zipadelli, maybe those are the types of moves that you'll see make RCR great again. It actually gives me hope. I'm not going to lie. Listening to Austin Dillon talk, which is crazy that Austin Dillon talking is the one that gives me hope. Listening to that makes me think that there's a voice in Richard's ear that says, hey, I know that we got the kids driving and things of that nature, and you love it, Grandpa, that, you know, your grandson's driving, but this ain't it. This isn't what we want to be. And if I'm going to take over this business one day, we ain't going to run it like this. So getting Greg Zipadelli, it may not make things instrumentally, like, a huge impact immediately, but it's one of those things that go, from an outside perspective, maybe RCR inside the garage goes, hey, they look like they're serious. Spire Motorsports. Think about what your thoughts were of them 2 years ago. Nothing. They go out, buy Kyle Busch Motorsports. Okay, I'm interested. They go out, get a ton of money from Gainbridge. Okay, even more interested. They go out and sign Carson Hocevar. They go out and sign Michael McDowell. They just got Rodney Childers. That completely changes the thought process of Spire in 2 years. RCR could do the exact same thing. And if RCR wants to stay a tier 1 product for Chevy with things that are happening with Spire, they need to do something to prove that they still deserve that. The only thing they have right now is Kyle Busch. They have to, and Austin Dillon made it sound like Kyle Busch is committed to the process, but I think Kyle Busch is committed to Austin Dillon's process and not really Richard Childress' process. I'm starting to see, just by listening to that some things aren't aligned. And I think the shit has hit the fan enough to where Austin Dillon's come out and say, look, Grandpa's listening to me now. I got this figured out. I know what it takes to win. Oddly enough, hearing that from Austin Dillon. But I think him being younger, he really does have a better insight of what's in the garage and what it takes to be competitive. So could Greg Zipadelli through Austin Dillon be what it takes to get RCR back to being great again? That's $1 million question. But it's something I wouldn't have thought ever existed 2 months ago. I hope it is. I hope Greg Zipadelli brings that winning nature from formerly Joe Gibbs, from formerly Stuart Haas, and now, if they're able to get him for RCR, we see changes of what it takes. Stewart-Haas, as you can tell, the ship has gone down. There's a lot of talent on that ship. It just needed to be refocused somewhere else. Josh Berry's going to succeed. Noah Gragson's going to succeed. I think Chase Briscoe is going to succeed. And we're going to look at this years from now. If Greg Zipadelli does the same thing to RCR and go, damn, what really happened that Stewart-Haas Racing looked like crap for 2 years, didn't give Kevin Harvick the proper send-off, and it all was because they just didn't have any owners. The two owners weren't that hands-on with it, and it just let things slide. It was at the bottom, the very bottom, where they had the issues. Not the guys up top. Smart people up top. Good drivers up top. I think we'll see that. I think Greg Zipadelli can really help RCR. Is that the guy that Austin Dillon's alluded to? I don't know. But there's more showing me that Austin Dillon in 2 years is ready to take a role inside of RCR whenever he decides to put his driving career away. And I think he could even be sacrificing his driving career and what he's doing to try to make RCR great again. So let me know your thoughts. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. Again, we do live shows. We'll be doing that this week. Also do some iRacing, have shorts out there that are always fun. We're trying to be part of the NASCAR community and want you to be a part of it with us as well. So find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, all those different areas. And this is just another episode where we talk about things and continue the conversation inside the world of NASCAR. So again, my name is Ryan Peters with Stuck in the Catch Fence. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and God bless.